Right now it's a little sunny. We got storms rolling in later, but it's a great day to get this thing done. I'm confident I'll be able to get this thing running in probably, I'm gonna give myself, I'm gonna call it 4 hours. It's just now coming up on 10 o'clock, so I'm calling it 4 hours. I got the thing in and ready to fire. So I might take a break for lunch, but we'll call it 4 hours total. Well, we got progress. I moved it from here to over there. That's actually kind of where I prefer to degree the cams, because the bench is a little bit higher than the lift, and I got to bend over less if it's over there, and my back is about 10 years older than I am. Science things, but so that's where I'll do my work for now. So I went ahead and got my cam degree wheel set up with my pointer. Got my dial indicator, doing the intake cam first, and then rotating the motor on this side. And I found top dead center two ways. First is I'll go over here and go to my timing mark like I showed in the one other video. You know, the little line on the washer, marking the cover. Line those up. That should technically be top dead center. But always want to confirm this stuff, because you never know what's moved, what's twisted, what's bent, whatever. So got my little homemade piston stop that's adjustable. Stilled spark plug with a 1/4-20 cap screw in it. Run that down into #1 cylinder, and then just turn this in until it touches the piston, and then rotate the motor one way until it stops, the other way until it stops. Take a reading both ways, divide them in half, that number, rotate the degree wheel to 0. That's your confirmed top dead center. And if you did everything right, it should line up with the mark on that side if everything is in good working order. So now that we got that figured out, we'll go ahead and start degreeing this guy in. Well, first we're going to double check it, because these were degreed once already. So we'll double check everything to make sure that they're still where they were. And if anything is moved or I got to make any adjustments, now's the time I'll do it. So what I'm going to do now is roll the motor over until I see 50 thou open on my dial indicator, and then I'll read that number on the degree wheel. I went too far, so now I got to roll it back around. Great. Okay, we're back at 0. I'll come up to 50 as best I can until I get it right. And there, 50 thou. So I'll read the number on my degree wheel here, and we're at 10. At 12 degrees. Now I wrote that number down. Now I'm going to rotate it over to 50 thou before closed. Yet again, I went too far, jumped past it. Come back, 1, 2, 3, 4, another 50. I went past again. I can definitely tell this thing's got more valve spring in it. Really should just build an engine stand. That's why I'm struggling, is trying to hold it while I'm rotating the motor, and then the motor slips and then it jumps past my reading, so I got to be like super smooth. Takes a few tries, but I always get it. Ratchet moved. One, two, three. Oh, damn. Landed right on it. So now we'll take our reading here. 45. 46. Now we get to do some math. My calculator out. Directions. So we gotta go 12 plus 46 plus 180 equals, divided by 2 equals, minus 12 equals. The cam's at 107 right now. I'd like to be at 105, so I'm going to run through my measurements one more time and make sure I come up with that same number, and then I might try making a little move. I want to get to that 105 number. Little more. Right there. 12 the first time, we got 12 this time. So everything's going to pretty much come out the same. So I'll go ahead and I'll make a little adjustment and do this all again. And if you've never degreed cams before, this is actually where you make your adjustment. There's a bolt here, and then there's one just right behind here. There's slots, and you can rotate the cam or the gear depending on which way your brain works, but they'll move independently. And then you get your cam settings where you want them based off of your crank, and I'll go through and pull these out, brake clean them, Loctite it, put it back in, rotate it a little bit, and then I get to that one, I'll clean it and Loctite it. Check this happy horse shit out. First try on the exhaust cam. Oops, got my hand out of the way here. So these were my numbers. 41 degrees on the wheel at 50 thou open, and then 11 degrees at 50 thou before closed. So we'll do our math quick. If you're faster than me, you can probably do this. I'm trying to do the calculator through the phone here, so go 41 plus 11 plus 180 equals 232 divided by 2 equals 116 minus our smaller number 11 equals 105. I'm at 105, where I wanted to be. So I just gave away all my speed secrets of my super special fucking high-tech, I just swore, cam degree numbers. But I've played around with cam degreeing quite a bit as far as changing these numbers a little bit. I've been down to 102, I've been up to 109, intake and exhaust all over the place, and I haven't noticed incredible gains either way. You start changing numbers, you basically just end up with interference issues. You're cutting it on the ragged edge either one way or the other. So I've found that the 105 I shoot for tends to be pretty much just a safe bet. And then I got that magic front mounted whirly doofer that makes up for power 1 pound at a time for anything that I don't really make it for power here. So like I said, I'm a hack. Gassed. So apparently I was not thinking clearly, and I hit the photo button instead of the video button, so you didn't see me just struggle to get this motor up onto the scissor lift under the bike. So that's why I did the strap around my neck and lifted the motor up with my back basically, which we figured out. I think this is why my back's 10 years older than I am. But now that it's on the scissor lift, at least I can crank it up easily and put it all back together and then start connecting things. Alright, so you can see I got the motor back in the chassis now. Nothing is connected other than I just slid in the motor mount bolts. And I kind of have a process I go through now that I will go through and fully tighten all of the motor bolts. Nothing else gets touched as far as connectors, nothing else until I know the motor is tight. Everything is set. Then I know I don't have to go back and worry about did I remember to tighten that motor mount bolt or whatever. But I always do all the motor mount bolts tight, finished, done. Then I'll go to the back. I actually will put the chain on. I'll string the chain, put the master link in, and I'll set the chain tension, rear axle, and finish that. Those are like the two most critical things to me to make sure that I'm not distracted doing other things. So I will start to finish. I won't touch them unless I finish it. So motor mounts, chain and axle adjustment, and then tight, tight, tight. And then after that, it's a vacation of just connecting things and get ready to fire it up. So it's about 12:15. Like I said, I got my chain on and adjusted how I was talking about doing. Motor mount bolts are all in, air shifter and front sprocket, speedo sensor all set up, ready to go. Now it's time to just start connecting everything, and I got about 2 hours to do it according to my 4-hour time frame I gave myself. One of the big time savers is going to be the fact that I don't have a radiator up here to fuck with. It's all back there. So I don't got to worry about rehanging any of that crap. It's just 2 hoses to hook up there and there. Clock's ticking. Well, done with the first part of this whole reinstall process. It's coming up on almost 1 o'clock, 12:57. So by my calculations, I still have about an hour and 15 minutes, I think, to get the turbo kit hung on it. And then I have to go run and get oil and water. I don't have anything out here right now. So at that point is when I'm going to grab some food, because I'm getting hungry and I want tacos. So I'm going to finish hanging the turbo kit and then take a break. So I only said ready to run, not running. So get going, I'm hungry. So here's the whole turbo kit. Before I hang this thing though, I run a oil feed pressure regulator and a filter going to the turbo. So I want to pull this filter apart and double check, make sure there's nothing in there. It's just a metal screen to catch big chunks from getting into the turbo feed. So I'll pull that apart quick, just take a peek at it, and then we can bolt that right up in there. 1 hour to get the turbo kit on. I think I'll be alright. Knock on wood. Not light. To start. After this is tight, I just got to put the charge tube on and then get oil and water. So what I'm going to do here is hook back up my oil feed for my turbo regulator, which is the feed for the turbo itself. So put my little elbow on there, connect everything back up, and find it's nice relaxed home position so nothing's stressed. Right about there. We'll snug this up. We'll come in and snug this one up. And there's one more, it's a little bit harder to get at on the back side for the filter. That's that. Then this, I'll show you how all this all works here in a second. Okay, so I was talking a little bit about this oil pressure regulator. So this is the feed coming off one of the oil galleys in the motor, runs into this elbow, and then that's a Turbo Smart pressure regulator that regulates the feed to the turbo to 40 psi constant. So as this motor runs, it sees anywhere from say 40 pounds at idle to maybe 140 or better, 160 going down track. So those high pressure numbers aren't really, they don't really make that turbo happy on the inside, so it'll start pushing oil out past the seals. So what you do is you regulate it down with a little bit of a little regulator there. It's not adjustable, it's just 40 pounds. And then the extra oil that's being pumped to that, so it doesn't just deadhead at that regulator, it actually comes down this line here, through there, and drains back into the crankcase. So it's constantly pumping oil back into the bottom of the motor. And then this is actually a block off plate from where my water pump used to go, but because I run this electric water pump, that's available to run that too. It's just a quick, simple way to route it, but that's how that whole system works. Now we'll go from here to charge tube, and I got to put the scavenge pump back on, and then I got to remount my turbo plenum hold downs to go to the hole on the inside of the frame, other side of this, up to these. So I'll get all that stuff done, and we're getting down to the little nuts and bolts of it. So I'm hanging out here. I'm going to go ahead and hook up my wastegate. Got two lines that run to it. One of them is just for a pressure sensor, and the other one is for actual dome control. So as the bike or the ECU commands more boost, it'll apply pressure to the top of the wastegate, and if I want a less boost, it'll take pressure away from the wastegate, and it monitors all of that because there's a sensor that's right here, and that's attached to my boost controller. So while I'm staring at all this stuff, we'll go ahead and just hook it all up so I don't forget. Right now I'm struggling. There we go. Let's snug these guys down. That's that. Boom, boom. I think I need to Scotch Brite this up a little bit. Kind of haggard looking right now. Much better. Double check our fit. I just got really, really lucky. That all just lined right back up. Usually every time the motor is out or back in, everything kind of moves a little bit, but everything just went right back into place there, and I'm pretty happy about that. So I'll get my clamps on here. Can be a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle at times. Only got two hands, right? Yeah, there's one. I'll get the other one started up on top. I'm struggling. I think like one more hand would be great. All right, Got the injectors are plugged in, harness is tied up, everything is connected and routed the way it should be. Got my plenum hold downs, charge tube is on, blow off valve is hooked up, all my map lines are on and connected. Everything good over here. Charge tube right over here. That's all good. Last thing I got to do right now is I'm going to put the scavenge pump on and connect the oil line for the turbo drain. So that's the last thing, and I'm about down to 3 minutes according to my clock here. Well, I have failed you. It's 3:45 right now, and I didn't get done what I wanted to do because I needed to modify a bolt quick for my scavenge pump setup. I overly modified it. I had to go run to the hardware store and get another one so I can do it right this time. So yeah, I'm basically back to, by the way, I stopped and I went to the Chinese buffet because I'm a sucker for Chinese buffets. So I did get some food, so I've been gone for a little while. So we're back to where I left off with. I just need to button up the scavenge pump and then add fluids, fire it up. So we'll go from there. Well, we're almost ready to fire things up. I went ahead and bled the cooling system out, which is a nice feature of having the electric pump on it, is I can just fill it, turn the pump on with the dash, let everything circulate, and it'll pull the fluid down, and then I can just keep topping it off. Scavenge pump back on, hooked up. That bolt I modified actually worked this time, and I just put spark plugs in it after I got it primed. So I'll go ahead and I gotta tighten these down yet. Put the coils on, connect the coils, put the gas tank on, and we should be good to go. Well, I think that's a wrap on this project. We hit a fan in the tail running right now. Water pump's running, cooling it off. Yeah, all I gotta do is put the two side fairings on, which is about a 30-second job. And then I'll probably do a quick two-step test. Probably get the laptop out and data log some idle time, and then it's just now starting to storm, so I'm not gonna get out to ride this thing today. So maybe tomorrow I'll do a quick ride up and down the road and data log that and see where everything's at. I'm starting to question, maybe this thing has had an issue for a little longer than I'm thinking. Just with how it's running, it's noticeably better. Idle quality, everything just seems better. So I'm wondering if maybe I wasn't making some adjustments on the. I would always data log my return road rides, and then that's how I would work on cleaning up the rideability part of things. And I'm just wondering if I wasn't maybe making adjustments for something that really was already a kind of pre-existing issue going on. So I don't know. We'll keep going through it and double checking things. It's still early Friday. Well, relatively early as far as about 5 o'clock right now. So I got all tomorrow before I can throw it in the trailer tomorrow evening, and then I'm going to ride to the track, or drive it to the track up north here, about 3.5 hours, and then I'm camping out tomorrow night in the truck. And then Sunday morning we'll get up and get things going, and that's when we'll start racing. So follow along. Next video should be some race footage. Also, guys, if you're interested in podcasts or anything, check out the Creative Riding, not Riding, Creative Riding motorcycle podcast. Real good guy from out in California. covers just about everything you could think of as far as motorcycling goes, and it's kind of a funny, off-kilter kind of show. And I've been on there like, I don't know, probably a dozen times at this point talking to him, and he really digs the technology that we have and use in these drag bikes. So go ahead, give the show a listen, give him a like, give him a follow if you're into that kind of thing. It's something a little bit different than the non-stop drag racing stuff that we, engulf ourselves in. So yeah, give him a listen, and talk to you later.